Hello, everyone. My name is Tiana Rogers. My pronouns are she, her, and I am going to be discussing my answers, I guess, for the um, final. I do have some notes that I wrote down, but I don't know. My answers might change because as I talk, I get more personable. So, um, anyways, for the first one, finishing Juliet. First of all, that's a crazy book. Is a lot of emotions in that book. Um, but it really did help me with my preconceived notions of intersectionality. Um, I definitely had a lot of them before I came into this course. But I realized that my understanding of feminism was um, more narrow than I anticipated before starting this course. Um, and I think that the book actually helped me with my own perspective. Um, and just seeing in general Juliet's journey helped to fill in gaps of my own perspective as well, which is crazy cool to experience. Um, Along with the power of the dialogue. The dialogue was crazy. I mean, a lot of things that people like to push off, not talk about. Um, Hard conversations. They're avoidable because no one wants to have them. But, you know, this book, Juliet Takes a Breath, just really opens up a vast majority of different perspectives that I never knew I had. So I thought that was pretty awesome to experience. Um, Excuse me. Now, conversing with my study group this quarter about Juliet Takes a Breath um, definitely impacted my learning. Uh, Instead of it just being in a book, it helped me bring that book to reality, into the real world. And it also helped me to get the perspectives of my study group and my classmates, and kind of bounce ideas off of where our mind was at, because this book has so many emotions. There's so many phases of life. Um, so much compacted into this book that to try to decipher it on your own can be challenging. So I really appreciated having that study group dynamic. I will be honest, I definitely could have discussed more with my study group and been more open with communication. There were times that that was missed, but I did appreciate it when it was there, when we did have those discussions. Um, I'm going to make sure I'm not missing anything on my notes. I just have little key points here. Um, it also, having a study group also allowed me to have connection on a more empathetic level because I was able to see it from someone else's perspective. A lot of the times when we're looking from our own perspective, it has a tendency to be distorted, because of course we don't always tell ourselves that our perspective is wrong or arrogant or um, judgmental. Sometimes we need an outside perspective to share that with us so that we can step back and really see, whoa, okay. So there is a different perspective. And maybe I do need to alter mine a little bit, or maybe I don't. But it's definitely a cool thing to have experienced that with other peers in my class and just bounce those ideas. Um, so being required to read this novel has really sharpened my critical thinking. It's also taught me to slow down when I read and not just rush immediately to the end page or want to figure out the plot or it just really helped me to slow down and really be a part of the novel, which was awesome. Um, it also made me think of the weeks that Juliet was navigating her internships. Um, and that, her taking that that slow pace allowed her as well to really dissect those microaggressions, to dissect power dynamics, and it forced Julia and me the to be more diligent on perspective taking. Um, and it allowed me to look at the scene from multiple angles, which was also very cool. Um, after listening to the Ta-Nehisi Coates interview, I definitely have a lot of mixed emotions. I think that this is one module that I've really had to resonate with myself and kind of step back because I am Native American. Um, and it's different for me to experience that interview, having personal experiences of similar situations. And it really made me have to sit and try to be understanding this interview from all perspectives, all angles, all different parts of the story without having that pit in my stomach and that feeling of like anger and feeling dismissed. Um but that's my own personal feelings. Um it's helped me, the interview has also helped me realize that book banning is not just about removing paper. It's an attack. It's 100% an attack on human imagination. Um, because people who have an imagination are creative. There is no limit to what they can do. Um, and also when we censor stories, we're essentially censoring them to protect other people, not to benefit our own story. Um, it's in a sense shrinking the ability of that person to see different in the world, if that makes sense. I'm trying to explain it the best I can. Um, but it also made me realize that a lot of forbidden stories are radical acts of keeping our imagination alive. And that's all I'm going to say on that because I feel like that could just be a whole other conversation in itself. Um, if I were to reflect on this women's studies course, I would say that this women's studies course has opened up my mind more than I have imagined it would have. I, prior to taking this women's studies, have taken a women's studies before. Um, but it was nothing like this. This one really makes you sit and think and anticipate and dissect what you thought you believed in before. The book and class discussions helped me analyze social categories like gender, race, um, class intersect. But reading Juliet's story, it wasn't just reading for fun. It was a lived exercise in the course that allowed me to define systemic oppression, um, but also allowed me to see through Juliet's eyes. And then get to discuss the nuances with the groups and classmates and teachers was just a really cool experience. Um, and I love that we were reading the same thing, so that when I was excited about something, if there was something I wanted to share or I felt comfortable enough to discuss, I could just bring it out there and they knew what I was talking about. And it would be cool to see that we have those same thoughts, those same feelings, those same emotions about what we read. Um, Also, being able to study with Professor Rakes was one of my favorite things. I've had a lot of different professors since my time being at this college, and I will say that I believe Professor Rakes 100% allows you to be vulnerable and creates a vulnerability that feels safe and allows us to discuss amongst one another, not only in assignments, but also in study groups on what we're feeling, what we're going through, how the book made us feel. And I would have to say that's one of my favorite moments. My favorite moment would to be studying under Professor Rakes and study groups with classmates so I could bounce off of their ideas and so they could see mine. Um, there was also a ton of, oh, I'm so sorry. There's also a ton of confronting moments. A lot of confronting moments. There was a moment in one of my study groups that me and a classmate didn't see eye to eye about the interview with, sorry, Coates, and I had to really speak with myself and allow myself to feel like that was okay. It's okay. We don't need to have the same perspective. And I didn't need to immediately defend my own point of view. And vice versa. They didn't need to defend theirs. This was just a dialogue. We're just discussing. We're feeling emotions. Um, I think the insight that I would be integrating into my life now after taking this course and this class is active listening without feeling the need to immediately respond. I'm allowed to sit in those emotions. I'm allowed to not feel like I don't need to immediately defend my point of view. And having a different viewpoint than others is okay. That's what makes it great. That's what makes it an experience. So I just want to carry that openness to my personal relationship and life for a long time. So I hope you guys like this video. I'm sorry it's all over the place. You can hear my dogs. I'm over the place. I have children running around somewhere around here. So if you see me looking off to the side, that's also why I went a few minutes past getting interrupted. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This class was amazing. Professor Rakes, you're amazing. I love the literature. I love the classmates. And I hope I get to have another course with all of you, any of you, some of you. Have a good day.